I have been on the road for over 5 weeks now, and in this backpack are all the tech that I thought would be helpful in creating content on the go. So if you travel a lot and you love tech, you probably have a backpack just like this. So in this video, I want to talk about 21 things, some of which I loved very much throughout my trip. Other things I will definitely never take again. Yo, what's up guys? My name is Rob and I make content about tech, EDC and a little bit of trouble. So starting with the first item, this is the Gravity Jumper Camera Backpack in the size large and the pine green color. To me, this backpack has been very good. And if you look up reviews all over YouTube, you will quickly see that everyone loves this thing. Doesn't look like a camera backpack. And that to me, if I travel, is very important because in it is a lot of very expensive gear. This backpack has been almost perfect, minus the one thing that I don't like about it. And that is that one time I got caught in the rain when in Japan. And I thought to myself, listen, it's a backpack. I know it's not made for the rain. It is not water resistant, but I thought, listen, it has zippers. How bad can it get? Well, turns out that even during like a moderate rain, it wasn't like pouring down, right? Half of my camera gear got wet. So while I absolutely love this thing, I will probably start looking for another backpack that has a bit more weather resistance. But with that, let's jump on to the next point. So I like cameras, right? And as a full-time creator, I have a lot of them and they all serve a different purpose. So starting with the big boy, this is the Sony ZV-E1. It's a relatively small body if you look at it, right? Like minus the lens, the body is relatively small. And honestly, this camera has been really good to me. But as you can see, I'm actually not recording on it right now. I'm recording on a different camera, which I'll show you in a couple of minutes. And including all the things, which we'll get to in a second, that I have to take to get the most out of a camera like this, it makes me dislike traveling with a camera of this size. But then the other things that you really need to get the most out of it is, for example, a microphone. This is the, it has a really weird name, so I'm going to read it. This is the Sony ECM B1M hot shoe mic, right? And the reason I like this thing is that there's no cables and there's no battery. This mic has served me very well. A lot of people don't really like this because apparently it makes some like clicking noise. Aside from the actual camera, you need a lens. This one that I have on it, this is the Sony f2.8 24-70 G Master Mark II. This is a big boy, right? It is an extremely good lens. This already, you see, this is like a thing that will grab some eyes. If you're like out there and you're filming yourself or something like that, people will definitely ask, oh, what is he doing? Does he have a YouTube channel? Is he a creator? Is that some commercial work or something? Which is another thing with cameras like this. If you walk into a cafe with a camera like this, it has happened to me. I'm in Poland right now because I'm on a Euro trip for like 6 weeks. I have walked into a cafe with this one and they immediately asked me if I have a permission, like if I have a permit to actually film there. So it doesn't end there. There are multiple filters that I screw on top to get like the type of look or the best quality out of this camera. This is a mist filter, which is kind of like, it adds some softness to your image to make it look less digital, if you will. This is the K&F Concept Black Mist Filter in a 1/4 strength. And then on top of that, I have the Peter McKinnon Variable Neutral Density Filter in the Black Mist edition for 2 to 5 stops. You can like rotate it and it basically lets you adjust the light that comes into your camera. It's another thing that I don't really want to worry about when I make videos like this. So this as a whole is definitely something that I would love to keep home when I travel next. I tried it before, but I'm a sucker for good video quality. But this is just, it's a little bit too much. So the next item is a tripod, because of course, if you bring a proper camera, you better bring a proper tripod. This is the peakdesign travel tripod in the aluminum version. They were really kind enough to send it over to me, which is nice because I love this brand and I have a bunch of stuff from them that I bought with my own money. but this one they sent over. And it is extremely steady. Not to mention, it is relatively small, right? So again, if you compare this to the camera from earlier, right? It is really, really good. This, by the way, is the peakdesign tech pouch. They didn't send this one over. I bought this with my own money. In fact, I have 2 of these. And I love these things, right? They're extremely rugged. They have some buffer, so they can definitely keep your stuff safe. I got a lot of like cables in there, extra batteries. This is another thing that I need for the big camera, right? Next is probably something that a lot of you guys don't know, and that is this little guy. I cannot believe that it took me so long to actually figure out what this is. I had seen them before, but I didn't use them. So this is an Octo Buddy Max, and you see it has a lot of suction caps on both sides. And what it does is very simple. You just attach it to the back of your phone, and then you can attach your phone to all types of things. This thing is extremely useful. There's only one thing that really sucks about it, at least on an iPhone. I haven't tested it on any other phone, but if you take this and you put it against the surface, it messes with the microphones on your phone. So if you, for example, put it against the window and you start talking, then your voice starts sounding kind of tinny, if that makes sense. I have a solution for that, and I'll show you in a little bit what I do, because I still do it. I just do it slightly differently. And then next up is a little bit of an invention of mine. So sometimes you do want a real tripod, right? So this is a combination of a very, very simple, super generic mini tripod legs, right? So these are called tripod legs. There's just like a 1/4 inch screw right here, right? And I combine this with a standard phone mount. It really doesn't matter what type of phone mount you use here. There's not even a logo on this one. What I will say is ideally you get one that has a little bit of a wiggle. So if I attach this again, you can see this one, that's what I would recommend. This one has a bit of a wiggle, so you can like move it around, which is great. It also goes vertical and horizontal, which is great. I use this all the time to get some B-roll that I just usually wouldn't. I would highly recommend you get something like this. Extremely useful, use it all the time. And another tripod thing-ish is this. So you may remember these things from the good old days when they came with adhesive, so they glued onto your phone. Luckily, nowadays you don't have to do that anymore. So this is a pop socket MagSafe, which just attaches with magnets, and it's really stable. So I use this thing all the time because you can like put it on the table, for example, and then it just stands, right? Cannot live without them. I have a bunch of these. They discolor. You can see this one is like the classic stuff. It just discolors after some time, right? And then for the actual phone, so I'm the type of person that gets a new iPhone every single year. Feel free to judge me in the comments. This is the iPhone 15 Pro Max in the, I think, blue titanium they call it, like that, right? In the 1 terabyte version. That was a huge mistake. It was the first time that I got a 1 terabyte iPhone, because I thought, oh wow, so finally I don't need to use iCloud anymore, and I can just have the full version of all my photos and videos on my phone. Nope, 1 terabyte is not nearly enough for that if you have a decently sized photo roll. So with the next iPhone in September, I'm definitely going to downgrade to 512. I think even 256 is like on the edge. If you get a 512, like 1 terabyte, there's just no reason to have a 1 terabyte iPhone, period, right? And then I cover it with an original Apple silicon case. I know these things are quite controversial. Even myself in the past have talked badly about them because they break very easily. So if you look at this and also over here, right? I am going through 2 at least per year. And I'm buying a new iPhone every year, right? So it's like, it's a huge waste of money. But very interestingly, recently, Apple, while buying this one, Apple has told me, because I complained about it, and I told them like, yo, what's up? You know, like I buy 2 or 3 of them every year. Like, what's going on? You know, like I'm wasting so much money. And they're like, why are you buying so many of them? And I'm like, because they break, right? It's like this part here breaks very often or they just start peeling. And he said, bro, you got warranty on this. Just bring it into the store with your receipt and we'll give you a new one. And I was like, what? I didn't know that was a thing, you know? So yeah, so now I'm a big fan of Apple cases again. And then as teased earlier, these are the AirPods Pro. So I love these. At home, I have to say, at home, I still use them, especially if I go to the gym or if I like go for a walk or something like that. When I travel, these are the ones I travel with. I used to travel with the Max, but they just take too much space. I love these. Extremely useful, couldn't live without them. And next we have something that is not really tech, but is something that is extremely important, especially if you're a content creator or you just film yourself all the time. So this is a lint roller, because if you film yourself and you wear dark clothes like this or like a black t-shirt or something like this, everything shows up, every fluff, every like little white something, right? This is the, let me get that right. This is the Scotch Brite Mini Travel Lint Roller, right? So it's some American brand. I travel with this. It's extremely useful. Cannot recommend enough. But now back to the tech. So one of the most recent additions are the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. And honestly, they are really good. They are really good. I have used them a lot since I got them. These I think are the Wayfarer in large, I want to say. Let me put them on for you. So this is what they look like, right? They have incredibly good speakers. So I use them when I like go out. I use them to like listen to music at a volume that not the whole world can hear. I use them to record clips in some scenarios. For example, when I'm on a e-scooter, scooting around, like on a Lime scooter or something like that, or maybe when I don't have my hands free because I don't know, I'm taking like a photo with a camera or something like that, right? For some behind the scenes stuff. It's really good. And then recently I actually got access to their AI features and they have blown my mind. And I've recently used them when I was in Mallorca, Spain, and I speak very little Spanish. So I had a Spanish menu in front of me and I said, hey Meta, look and translate this for me. And then I was literally reading the entire menu. Here are like some pancakes with raspberry sauce, or here's like a toasty with this or whatever, right? Extremely impressive. Next up, we have a 360 camera, and mine is quite messed up, as you can see. So I'm using this a lot because it is what I like to call this the best second or third camera that you should own, because it is in no way good enough to be your primary camera, because for all types of reasons, right? It's like really bad in low light, for example. It is relatively difficult to connect a mic on this. The video files are massive and it's not the best video quality to begin with, but it is able to get shots that other cameras are not easy to get. So for example, I live in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and they do not allow us to fly drones over there. But with this thing and a 3-meter selfie stick, which I also have, you can get shots that are incredibly impressive. And the next is another camera, and that is actually the one that I'm recording on right now. Luckily, I have 2 of these because I love this camera so much that my wife and I both got one, and that is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. If you're looking for a camera that does it all, including YouTube videos like this, then this is probably the best camera you can get. We both have the creator combo, it's called. I use this thing all the time. Sometimes less and sometimes more, because I don't know, if you're like out and about and you didn't really think you're gonna like record something, then I just record on my phone. But if I know I'm going somewhere to record something, then the DJI Pocket 3 surely is in my backpack or any other bag that I'm taking, because it's just that good. And even though the DJI Pocket 3 does come with a mic, I have another set of mics, and that is the DJI Wireless Mic 2. Remember when I said earlier that when you use the Octobody with your phone and you put it against the wall, for example, that your sound is kind of bad? Well, what I do is I just connect the receiver into the iPhone, right? There's no connection, no Bluetooth connection, no setup, nothing. It just works, right? And this, by the way, is what it sounds like. So this is the iPhone 15 Pro Max front camera with the phone stuck against the window and the DJI Wireless Mic 2 receiver with the mic. Works for me. It just makes everything so much better. So if you do record a lot of like Instagram stories or a lot of content on your iPhone, then I would definitely recommend you get a wireless mic just like this. It will change your life, I promise you. And then another thing that I cannot live without is AirTags. So because I have, you know, luggages, hand luggages, backpacks, little bags, tech pouches and whatever, so I use these all the time. I think Apple has a 4-pack of them. Plus they opened up their, what they call their Find My network, right? Wow, okay. They opened up their Find My network. So there's now other third parties that can make basically AirTags, right? That you can also use. So there's really no reason not to have a bunch of them and connect them and place them in everything that you want to not get stolen, that you may lose once in a while, right? It's an incredibly useful little thing to have, especially while you travel. The next thing is probably the biggest item, and it's what I read my notes of currently. This is the Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch with the M2 processor inside. It is such a big boy. It's so heavy. And the only reason I travel with this thing is because I edit videos. I would love to be an iPad person that just travels with like a 11 or now 13-inch iPad Pro and just do that, because the only reason that I use this really is browsing like websites, which I would prefer to do on an iPad. I watch some YouTube or whatever, which I would prefer to do on an iPad, right? All the tasks that I do on an everyday basis, I would prefer to do on an iPad, except for video editing, because video editing on the iPad sucks. So I'm experimenting with a video editor now. So if I manage to outsource video editing, this thing is the first thing that would stay at home next time I leave the country. Another thing that will probably stay at home next time around is the Kindle Paperwhite, because listen, I'm not a big reader to begin with, right? But Alex Hormozi recently said something that it is a way better reading experience if you read on your iPhone with the Kindle app, because if you do, and it doesn't work for all of the books, but if you have one that works, like Alex Hormozi books, for example, then you can read while you listen to the actual, sorry, I thought the door was opening in the hotel room and I was like, what? Then you can read while you listen to the audiobook, and you can do it at like 1.2, 1.5x speed. So you actually go through the book a lot faster while retaining more information, if that makes sense. So in the cases that this does work, this is my preferred method. So if you're curious about the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses or the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I have videos for both of these on my channel and I'll link them over here. I hope this video was useful and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.